Here we go, holy ones. Connecting to that spirit, that energy, that frequency, that Krystic code. Welcome everybody to this transmission about the Anunnaki. And I have actually have over 1,500 videos, and hundreds of my videos are about the Anunnaki. Just giving a little bit of context there. And tonight we're going to be talking about basically the origin of the Anunnaki and how that is, you would say, talked about regarding the ancient Sumerian, Babylonian, Assyrian, and Akkadian gods. Some of them are historical and talked about in New Age, talked about in the occult and religion, like Judaism, and sacred books like the Book of Enoch. So, which, by the way, from these teachings is an Anunnaki. Enki's an Anunnaki, Thoth's an Anunnaki. But we're going to get into that. We'll lead up to that. And so these are sometimes touted as good guys, especially these ones that I'll be talking about tonight, Enki and Enlil. And there's a battle between the brothers. And so this is actually one of the big parts of this teachings, part of the Voyager's books. I mean, these beings play a huge part in what's going on Earth, the Anunnaki. And this is Voyager's 1. It doesn't talk about that as much. Mostly it's the positive guardians and the historical introduction to some of the extraterrestrials that are involved with the human race. But it didn't get really strong and heavy until it gets to the Voyager's 2 book. This is where it starts talking about them as being fallen angels, extraterrestrials, malevolent beings that have brought us religions, that have brought us worshiping and subservience. And that's from the point of view of the Emerald Order teachings, also called the innerchristos law of one. And so I just want to make sure that you guys can see me and hear me okay. Got a live community coming on in. Machiwa. Let me light my candle. And so I talk about the Anunnaki once every couple of months on my lives. It's been a couple of months. I want to say, just as some context here, I am my channel, Christos Avatar. It's on YouTube. It's on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, X. So I have a website, but mostly I operate from the social media and the video platforms. I just want to say that I've been demonetized, and I think it's because, I don't know for sure, because it is part of their policy not to tell you exactly what you did wrong. But YouTube demonetized me. It means I no longer have advertisements on my videos. I can't get, a percentage or an income. I can't get any income anymore. So be mindful of that, you guys. If you want to support this work, please leave a personal donation. I left the link to the donations at the top of chat. It's also in the description of the video. Thank you guys. And I want to say that almost a month ago, it's been almost a month and a half ago, where I was talking about the Anunnaki, and I suddenly just got, a viral video. I got a viral video, my first viral video on YouTube. The closest I'd gotten was 300,000 views on a Indigo Child video. So I decided to make this series, and as soon as I made the series, it was so popular. It's still popular and not as strong as when it hit viral, but I had six videos go viral. Maybe more, because I haven't looked at them regularly. You know, they grow as they throughout time. So the highest I've gone is over 3 million views on these Anunnaki videos. But Facebook doesn't give me a problem like YouTube does. So YouTube doesn't, but also Facebook doesn't pay you very small. They pay you very small. If you guys are interested, take a look, because I literally have millions of views. I think last month I did over 20 million views. Too bad I'm not getting paid for that, right? 20 million views on all the videos on my Facebook account. So they tell you your monthly views, right? And that was like, OMG. So this is a big topic. I teach about ascension, spiritual awakening, chakras, kundalini, Merkaba, guardian teachings. I talk a lot about aliens even. But the Anunnaki just overshadows everything else that I talk about. So it's not as if I want to just focus on the Anunnaki, but you know, 33. There's 33 people online. Our first synchrony there. But I didn't check for an answer yet. If you guys can see me and hear me, okay? Can you guys see me and hear me, okay? I think there would be someone saying something in the chat if there wasn't. So, but yeah, you guys, the Anunnaki are literally a huge issue. They're a huge issue in our spiritual awakening ascension. They're a huge issue to our freedom, our sovereignty, attacking our freedom, our sovereignty, our sacred beliefs, manipulating them. All, you know, and this isn't just, you know, recently. This is ancient. You know, what's it called? Interception. These are ancient, kind of like messing with our human race and our civilization since Atlantis. So even though most mainstream history doesn't talk about Atlantis, they say it's just a myth, that actually Sumer is one of the most ancient cities, cultures, people. It's not even close, you guys. Even the TV show, you know, Ancient Aliens, has found many cultures and sacred and sites. Doesn't have to be sacred, but a lot of sites that are much more ancient than Sumer, which only goes back to about 5,000 BC. That's 7,000 years ago. Maybe they'll stretch it that far. But no, you guys, there is actually, because of the Anunnaki, not only, there's the reptilian people, guys, too. Because of the Anunnaki, we have false religions, we have false science. I'm not saying all of it is BS, but I'm saying you're definitely being held back. A lot of secrets, a lot of information, a lot of technologies. It's being held back. And literally, the people who are in power have longevity technology. They have advanced technologies for healing, for free energy systems. They're not limited to what the surface Earth has. And you're going to see this in movies played out. And what is movies? That is where they put soft disclosure. Soft disclosure. Disclose, inform, reveal. They reveal these truths in movie stories. Who runs the Hollywood? Who runs the filmmaking? You know, this is where we get most of our ideas, beliefs from. TV, movies, cartoons, whatever. There's programming in all those levels, all the different ages groups, all the different cultures. 222, you guys don't see 222, but I have this metric called average view duration. Since I just started, it's only 222. It just changed, 246. But 33 and 222 so far, holy ones, and we're only 5 minutes in. Yeah, I even heard Ashana say this. She doesn't want to talk about the warring and the fallen angels and stuff. She'd rather just peacefully, and I would rather just peacefully talk about Kundalini, Merkaba, chakras, Templar, your consciousness, and like I was going to do a live on that tonight, but then I just, like the 15-dimensional time matrix, I want to talk about that next week, maybe Saturday. So, but I decided to do the Anunnaki. It's been a couple months. So let me light my incense as well. Get a charcoal disc. And you guys, there's one of the things that the Anunnaki are masters of. That is deception. They're masters of deception. These are Luciferian fallen angelic beings, according to the Emerald Order teachings. But they pretend to be good guys. They spend a lot of their time, a lot of their resources on pretending to be the Galactic Federation, to be archangels to help you, like Metatron and Archangel Michael. These are Anunnaki, annu-elohim, Yahweh, Father God, whatever God. Most of these gods are the same beings, just being renamed throughout history, from Greek gods, same beings as Roman gods, just tweaked and renamed. Whatever serves the current power, like the Roman Empire. So a lot of these beings are the same beings that were worshipped since ancient days, ancient Atlantis, ancient, these cultures, Celtics, Druids, all the Babylonian deities, the Viking deities. Some of those things we're going to talk about, some of the influence. Like at the back of Voyagers 2. See, this is almost 600 pages long. Here's the front cover. But close to the back, which I'm going to show you tonight, there's several pages, a few pages, that specifically talk about all of the influences that these races have done, categorically, progressively throughout history. These beings being worshipped as good guys, have historically done atrocities, genocides, destruction, diseases, manipulations of our DNA. Some of the historical things, including the Christian Bible, Islam, including Hinduism. These are specifically, what I just mentioned, are related to the Anunnaki influence. Same with Enoch, the Book of Enoch. Same as, I will go in the back of the Voyagers 2 and show you a list. I won't even have time to go through all of them. But I will specifically focus on the Enki Anunnaki, which is not a brother, it's not a person. I will repeat myself. Enki Enlil and Marduk. Even though there's ancient cultures worshiping them as beings, people, they say these are brothers. Enki and Enlil are brothers, and Anu is their father. How cute. It's BS, you guys. According to the Guardians, the sacred universal law of one, These are collectives. These are names of races, species, different species. Enki is literally a different species than Enlil. Enlil is a different species than Marduk. And of course, we have something called Samyasi. It's also not a person, a female, like was contacted by Billy Myers. Samyasi is a fallen angelic, Luciferian, extraterrestrial, Pleiadian hybrid race. These are not people. They're not brothers. Okay? And this is something very interesting to clarify. Who writes holy scriptures? Whether it's the holy scripture of Christianity or the sacred text of any of these ancient religions, who writes the sacred texts? Who writes the teachings? Did you ever think about this? Now, in the Christian book, they say, here's some of the authors: Mark, Matthew, Luke, all these different books have some different authors. See, you get to get some idea of who's writing these teachings that people are just accepting as blindly truth. It's just truth because it's on a clay tablet. You guys, why would something be automatically truth? Because it's ancient and it was buried and revealed later, thousands of years. Okay, because some teachers out here are saying, here's some tablets, like the Emerald tablets. They're truth because they're talked about by the different cultures, which we're going to get into. You guys, just because something's on a cuneiform, which means Sumerian, special symbols and alphabet and code, cuneiform tablets, just because something's ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs or cuneiform tablets or whatever, it doesn't make it, don't assume it's automatically truth. Because what I just asked you earlier, who wrote the Sumerian tablets? Who wrote the supposed cuneiform tablets or emerald tablets? Who wrote them? The clergy or the elites. It is the elite. Just as we can have modern day propaganda or false creeds, false light teachings. Nowadays we can have this. You guys, it's the same type of manipulation in the ancient days as we have in the modern days. False light teachings being mostly nowadays, it's being channeled, not buried on some ancient cuneiform or clay tablet. Now it's streaming in by all these channelers around the world. Okay? But that's the same scenario. Who is coming up with this information? Who said Enki, Enlil, and Marduk are people? Who said Marduk or Enki and Enlil are brothers? Who said it? Who wrote it? What is the teachings of the... I smell something like, my charcoal disc, okay? I mean, it's sitting on top of a couple of resins, I guess. You guys, the Illuminati, which is the people who create false teachings and confuse current teachings and fabricate teachings. You guys, the Illuminati, there are several different races because they're not human. If you want to call the Rockefellers or the Rothschilds Illuminati, let's say they're the Illuminati, some type of Illuminati. They're not human. They're part human, but they're part alien, extraterrestrial. the Guardians call these Leviathan races. There are many. And as I show you the back of this book, I told you in the back of this Voyagers 2, there are probably over 50. We can count them, but we don't have to go through them all. But, let's say 25 at least a minimum of different Illuminati races, species. Because they take either an ancient Atlantean and mix it with an Enki Anunnaki, or mix it with the Enlil Anunnaki, or a Marduk Anunnaki, or mix it with some other Necromaton DNA, Nephilim DNA. They're mixing. This is what creates the elites. This is who the elites are. They have different DNA templates. They have higher consciousness, even if they're dark, they have more chakra, more Templar activated. When most humans only have 2.5 Templar chakra DNA to 3.5. 2.5 to 3.5, but let's say some of these Sumerians were hybrids. That means they have more DNA strands than most humans. Now, from the context of the sacred universal law of one, it doesn't make these beings better. Okay? Within the eyes of Source God, everything is equal. Everything is part of Source. Even if something went off the rails and started being dark and killing and murdering and conquering, enslaving, living off of loose energy, living off of torture, misery, suffering. Okay? They're still part of God. Nothing can change that. You can't go somewhere where there isn't God. Because God is everywhere. God is omnipresent. Do you know what omnipresent means? All present. Omni, all. Presence. Everywhere. Present. Everywhere. Not some places. Not believers only. Not in churches and temples only. Not the chosen ones only. No. God is present everywhere. And God gave all life free will. And some beings are using their free will to abuse others. But it didn't stop them from being part of God within the hologram. In the hologram, there is the possibility of distortion. Within the hologram is it's a 15-dimensional, 15 different realities in the hologram of matter, the time matrix. There's 15 different realities, you guys, and these beings could be coming from, let's say, most of the Enki, Anunnaki, Marduk, Enlil, they're coming from a higher universe than ours. But don't forget that we're part of a higher universe too. It's not as if they have something up on us. To be honest and frank, you guys, and I don't know if it's in Voyager's books, but it's in some of the other workshops. And they show how many strands of DNA an Anunnaki has compared to how many strands an angelic human has. When you understand that humans have more DNA than the Anunnaki, it is impossible to say that they created us, which is a huge narrative out here in the occult and New Age specifically, but also religion like Judaism and Judaism's mystical teachings called the Kabbalah. Okay? This is where you're going to have all these beings, people who are supporting the Anunnaki, praising Enoch, praising Thoth, praising Metatron. These are all part of the annu-elohim. Now, out in New Age, in online, okay, online, people say the main God of this pantheon of Mesopotamian gods, because that's what they are, is Anu. So it is Anu, you could say, is a race of beings who created the race of Anunnaki beings. You know, we all come from somewhere. We come from Earth or Tara, Gaia. Anunnaki come from somewhere. That someone created the Anunnaki. Someone created the human race. And the ones who created the Anunnaki is the Anu. The Guardians call them the annu-elohim. Same people, same group. It is an 11th-dimensional dark avatars. It is these 11th-dimensional dark avatars, the annu-elohim, who were warring with the Omicron dragon moths, reptilian beings. They were both competing, both taking over planets, enslaving races, killing, murdering races, going to war, conquering, marauders, raiders, criminals, thieves, demonic, hateful beings, fallen angelic beings, both of them ruling, going on and conquering blood spree. And so they're competing. The Anunnaki is a different species than the reptilians, but some of the reptilians and Anunnaki got combined. You guys, this is exactly what is Enki Anunnaki, Marduk Anunnaki, and Enlil Anunnaki. They're half Anunnaki and half reptilian. For example, Thoth and Enki. It's not a person. Thoth is a person, but Thoth is one of these Enki Anunnaki. Historical being, right? A lot of people know who Thoth is, but don't really know who Thoth is. A lot of people have an idea about this Egyptian being Thoth. Thoth was mixed with the Zeta. I'm not talking about this guy Thoth, okay? I'm talking about the Enki Anunnaki collective. The Enki Anunnaki were created by taking the original Anunnaki and combining it with Zeta gray aliens. Okay? So out of this, you get insectoid, reptilian, and serpents. They're humanoids. This is what the Enki Anunnaki are. It's not a brother, you guys. It's a race, a species, a hybrid species between Anunnaki and Zeta gray aliens combined. You get insectoid, reptilian, serpents, humanoid beings. And these beings, the Enki Anunnaki, are coming from Nibiru. The annu-elohim are on Nibiru. They're on Sirius A. Originally from a planet called Avion, but that was destroyed. So was Armatena. A part of Armatena, a certain dimensional level of it is destroyed. Planets can be destroyed. Just like you saw in Soft Disclosure in Star Wars, they're blowing up a planet with a huge, giant weapon. Isn't it interesting that the millions of years ago, the Nibirians created something called the Battle Star, Nibiru. It's a fake planet. There's fake planets and there's fake moons. There's that are spacecraft that they can move. Some of these things have to be towed into place though. Like our moon is one of these fake planetoids. It's not a planet. It's not a moon. It was actually towed into specific orbit. An unnatural orbit, by the way. And so that has something to do with the super Earth, the super planet that was destroyed called Tiamat, where we see the remnants of it as our asteroid belt. That's not what do you think an asteroid belt is? What are these bunch of rocks coming from? They're from a destroyed planet. And so that was one of our planets once upon a time. But the Battlestar Nibiru is still in our solar system. But there is a phantom Nibiru. That means it's in the phantom matrix. A part of it is in the phantom matrix. Tiamat, since, when a planet is destroyed, all life on it was just annihilated. That falls into the phantom matrix. Destroyed planets go to the phantom matrix. So there's a planet that used to be here called Chiron. So Chiron, Nibiru, and Tiamat are the 3 missing planets. We don't have 9, we have 12 planets originally. But you don't learn about those 3 planets, which is all part of the Anunnaki and the annu-elohim and all this fallen angelic malevolent ET warfare. So let me say hi to everyone. This is what we're going to be talking about. Let me put a little bit more frankincense. Here's some copal. I plan on just being calm today, not being... even though there's so much distortion out there about the Anunnaki, I'm just not going to, try not to raise my voice today. Thank you guys for being here. Much love, much respect to all of you. We're not the type of group to be quiet about the fallen angels. As soon as those groups broke the Emerald Covenant, they made Voyagers 2. They weren't going to call them fallen angels. They weren't going to point fingers at them. But now that they broke the covenant and are attacking our planet, planetary grids, and our people, now they're exposing them. I'm part of the Guardian Alliance. I'm part of this Blue Flame Speaker. This is my mission on this planet in my lifetime. I'm here to also expose these races of beings who have put themselves up on pedestals to be worshipped. They're bullies. Remember, I told you they're coming from the second universe. That's dimensions 4, 5, and 6. We're in the first universe, dimensions 1, 2, and 3. They're bullies. It doesn't mean we don't have extra help too, like the starseeds coming in and the indigo children coming in. Hello, indigos. Give me 5. What's up? Machiwa. You guys have any questions? Please tag my channel name. If you look at my channel name, it says Christos Avatar TV. Tag that in your message and it'll highlight. But I also have moderators and they're going to be helping me get your questions if I don't see them. But it helps if you tag the channel name. Magi Celine, woohoo! Magi Queen, what's up, Ancient One? Much love, much respect, Celine. Bless you, sister. Machiwa fam and Anuhazi, she said, yeah. Plus we got Gina Sutton. What's up, Star Sister? Woohoo! Yes, Gina. So happy to see you, Gina. Bless you, sister. Here early tonight. We got Luna. Luna Holland. Holahan. Luna Holahan. Maybe I said that, maybe I didn't. Sorry. What do you know about Anubis? This helps me, talk about something very important. Okay, you guys, there's something very important, especially if we're going to talk about the Anunnaki. There is no such thing as more than one God. There is no plural gods. There's only one God. There's only one creator of everything. But that doesn't stop millions of beings claiming to be God or gods. There is no such thing as gods. What are you thinking? No, I'm honestly asking you guys to ask yourself, what are you thinking? What do you think the definition of creator is? It's the being that created life, that created all life. How can you have more than one of those? There isn't more than one God. There isn't more than one creator. There's only one creator who started all life. So when someone asks me, what do you know about Anubis? It is not a god. Enki, Enlil, Marduk, Anu, what? How many gods? Ishtar, Babel, there isn't more than one God. There's only one God. That is the foundation. This is the foundation of your understanding of this topic tonight. This is the foundation. Go back to what is the definition of God. How can there be Jehovah? How can there be also Allah? How can there be Brahma? Okay, we're counting Osiris, Isis, Anubis. We're counting Celtic gods, Druid gods, Chinese gods, Greek gods, Roman gods. You guys, that's impossible. There's only one creator. What are all these other beings? They're imposters. They're extraterrestrials, and most of these extraterrestrials are from the second universe. Not all. What is a god to you? What is your definition of a god? Think about this. You really have to know what is God. Is it really a person that looks like us? Okay, if you believe that, let me ask you, why would God, if God is not from planet Earth, you know how all animals and people, they look different? Because all these different species are from the planet Earth. They have different templates, DNA templates. Even scientists know this. Everything looks different because of the different pattern they're based on. Why in the world would some God of the entire universe and all the galaxies, all the planets, all the different races, why would it look like us? A human-looking being. Why would it have a face like us, a gender like us? Why would it have eyes, mouth, nose, hair like us? Why? What? I'm asking you again, what are you thinking? No, when you hear some teaching you that there's all these different gods, multiple gods, you know, there's thousands of gods in Hinduism. Some people say there's millions of gods in Hinduism. There isn't multiple gods. Multiple gods, multiple creators do not exist. There's only one creator. We could end the live right now. That's it. All this Anunnaki stuff is BS because there is only one God, but they're saying there's all these gods. So that's the base, you guys. The fundamental concept right here is there's only one God. There isn't an Enki God. Even though it's been individualized and worshipped as God, a God. Okay, that's God. Why is that one God? That one's God too, and this one's God, and that one's God. This one's a creator, and that one's creator, and this is... There's a lot of confused people. If you Google search, you will find there's over 4,000 different religions. What? No, real. there's really 4,000 plus different religions. I know Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, I can list maybe 20, 30 religions if I really thought about it. Mormonism, maybe you guys are very affluent and know lots of religions. But can you name 4,000 different religions? That's how many different belief systems there are about God. There's so many different opinions and ideas about God. Okay, does that cause any, red flag for you? And out of these 4,000 plus religions, it is calculated there's almost 30,000 plus gods coming from these religions. You guys, there is something this is major, because billions of humans believe in these gods. Billions. Oh, sure, there's a lot of atheists, agnostics, or whatever you call it, people who don't believe in a god. There's plenty of those. But most of the planet believe in different gods. Okay, so which one's right? Which one's not right? Wrong? They all say they're right, of course. My God is real, your God is fake. No, yours is fake, mine is real. You guys have to go to what these beings are teaching. Remember the fundamental concept, there's only one God. And what are these beings teaching? It should be the next fundamental concept. What is Allah teaching? What is Yahweh teaching? What is Thoth teaching? What is, Ishtar teaching? Isis, Horus. What is Jehovah? What are these gods teaching? Look at what they're teaching. Because there are fundamental spiritual principles, man, that are being warped in these distorted, different, 4,000 plus different religions. They're taking the fundamental universal concepts and twisting them, manipulating us. And I'm not going to talk about 4,000 religions tonight. But I will talk about the ones that are the biggest and the ones causing the most damage. And that is Christianity, Islam, which is the two biggest. Right there's the two biggest. And Hinduism. They're all Anunnaki based. Created. Authored by. Remember what I said earlier at the beginning. Who writes sacred text? Human beings do. Humans are writing scriptures. They're writing these texts. Even back in Egypt, they had handwriting. After clay tablets. It wasn't always clay tablets, man. Okay? There's different media that was used throughout history. The priestcraft, the priest people, the ones who are priests are writing the doctrines. They're writing the dogmas. Who wrote all those 4,000 different religions? Humans are writing and authoring and creating these ideas. It is humans, man. And some of them are people are saying, they're inspired by one of these 4,000 plus gods, whatever their God is. This is inspired by Jehovah, Yahweh. Father God inspired these humans with the Holy Spirit. What about all these other doctrines? Are they talking about the Holy Spirit? Who writes doctrine, theology? And you will soon find out it is these corrupt priest castes teaching you manipulated universal principles taking the omni love or universal love or unconditional love to conditional love. They're taking universal principles and distorting them and teaching you false light teachings, false creeds that don't help you but harm you. They disempower you. The doctrines of Christianity, for example, disempower you big time. Instead of your inner Christos and your connection to your direct connection, oh, you're separate from God now. What? What's this? I'm not separate from God. No, you're separate from God. You were born as a sinner. Who wrote those teachings? And here's something very interesting for all of you billions of Christians. Here's a very valuable, important note. Way before the Jewish people, way before the Jewish religion, before the Jewish God, Yahweh, before, let me repeat that again, before this religion and this people, there was many other cultures and gods before this God. What? Huh? There was Babylonian gods, there's Sumerian gods, Assyrian gods, Akkadian gods, all around the same area, and some of those teachings went into your Bible. Some of those teachings carried over. The Bible is a mix, hodgepodge of some Egyptian teachings, some Celtic stories and teachings, some of the Babylonian teachings. Oh, isn't it cute that, the Jewish people were enslaved by these ancient cultures, ancient Egyptians. Where did these people get their ideas? Okay, the Jewish people were near Alexandria. There's a library full of different ideas about gods and religions and ancient records. Your Christian Bible is nothing new. Your teachings are not unique. They're borrowed teachings. And that, I can spend years teaching that. But I'm not going to. I'm focused on the inner Christos law of one perspective. But realize that most of those teachings are the same coming from the same sources, just in different cultures that were taken over. Remember, I told you we're going to get to the end of this book. Here, they tell you all the different cultures they invaded, influenced throughout history. The Anunnaki that a lot of you love and call brother Enki, brother Enlil. It's not a brother, it's not an individual, it's a race. Even Lucifer is the name of a race. It's not a person. Satan is not a person. It's a reptilian, Omicron dragon moths, draconians, dragons. Those are considered Satans. They come out of the Satan reptilian family. Thoth's group, the Luciferian Thoth group, comes out of the Lulatan family. These are bloodlines of extraterrestrials. All the confusing ideas of angels. Angels are ETs. All the confusing ideas. Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, Gabriel, Ariel. Archangels are ETs. Higher dimensional ETs. You have all these levels of different consciousness and different levels of body matter. There's not just carbon matter. There's carbon etheric matter. Here's carbon matter, way at the bottom. Then you have the carbon etheric matter. Then you have silicate matter. That's crystalline matter. And then there's the scientific word, guardian, spiritual science word is hydroplasmic world, matter. Hydroplasmic. And then thermal plasmic. There's different levels of matter. There's different levels of bodies. There's different levels of consciousness that goes into those bodies. So a lot of these, once again, it's humans coming up with these BS ideas, distorted ideas. Oh, angels are these beautiful, was there any pictures in the Bible of what an angel looked like? Or is there any pictures in the Bible? Look at your Bible. Open your Bible, because you do every day, right? Do you see pictures of angels? Where did the idea come from? You have no idea what these beings look like, if they look like a reptilian, if they look like an Anunnaki, because there's no pictures in there. What are angels really? According to most spiritual, not religious, spiritual teachings, most spiritual teachings understand these are beings that live in different realities. We talk about those different realities. They're called dimensions. There's 15 dimensions in our multiverse. But once again, most of the beings in the human drama are coming from the second universe. Dimensions 4, astral. Dimensions 5, archetype. And dimension 6, celestial. These are ETs that people call angels. There's the third universe beings in the silicate matter, crystalline matter, that are in dimensions 7, 8, and 9. Okay? Some of those beings are coming from that level. So, it's very interesting because we have two different races called Elohim. But the dark avatar one in the density 4 is annu-elohim. And then there's a group in the third universe, not the fourth, the third universe, that are just called Elohim. I suspect, even though I don't ever had heard Ashiana say it in any of these workshops, I suspect Michael, Ariel, Gabriel, Sariel, all these angels, not angels, are coming from this Elohim family, who originally was helping the Syrian Council with the angelic human race on planet Tara, but they slowly went against the humans and didn't want the humans continuing. So they fell in their own way, but I suspect that's where these beings are coming from, density, because we know that's where archangels are, in the third density, and the race called Elohim is in the third density. Annu-elohim is in the fourth density. It doesn't match. Those are dark avatars. So, since I got to check for donations and questions. Thank you guys, beloved ones. Hoda, blessing, Holy One. Thank you so much for your support. And he wrote a small comment. Thanks for sharing the truth. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. I literally can't do this without you guys. Remember, I'm not getting paid 1 penny from YouTube anymore. That's been taken away because of my controversial teachings, I guess. They don't really tell me because they don't tell you. And I can complain about that, but who are you going to complain to? Who am I going to complain to that Google is not telling me why Google YouTube is not telling me why they banned me? They didn't ban me. They demonetized me. I'm still on YouTube. You see my videos, but there's no more advertising on my channels. So thank you so much for that exchange of energy. Bless you, Holy One. Hoda. Georgina, Star Sister. Blessings. Thank you, Georgina, for your support. And I love those numbers. 111. Machiwa. Troy. Thank you so much, Troy. Powerful numbers. 2222. What's up? Yeah. Thank you so much. Machiwa from homie Inleton 12D. Yes, Inleton. I have to remember. Troy is Inleton. Okay, Troy. Inleton. What's up, brother? 12D, homie. What's up? Good to have you, brother. Thank you for that. Thank you for supporting my channel more than once. Gina! Woohoo! Star Sister. What? You're going to see us in July? All right. Blessings. I hope... In Sedona! Gina, thank you so much for your continued support. It'll be awesome to see you again in Sedona, no less, which is a very powerful place to be. Let me share this, you guys, with you on the screen. Thank you so much, Gina. Yes, we can't wait to meet you. Juliet should be there. Giannis 1111, she should be there. If she can't, it's possible she won't be able to make it. I hope she does. I'm struggling just to make it ends meet, you guys. So I'm not going to get into our personal, background on that, but I'm struggling. I wanted to go to Contact in the Desert. It's happening. Is it happening this weekend? Contact in the Desert is the biggest disclosure conference in the world. I can't even afford to go there, man. So I would, but you got to pay for the event. You got to pay for transportation and pay for a hotel. This is not possible after I just got through going to the other one with Juliet to the Sedona. So, yeah, that's how that is. But I just want to show that real quick, you guys, because what Gina's talking about. So let me switch to that real quick into my Photoshop, right? It works, right? It's going to work. Oh, it's not opening with Photoshop. Let me fix that. 1 second, guys. It's opening in Photos instead of Photoshop. Okay, so this, it's loading. What? My freaking, what the hell, dude? My Photoshop just crashed. Unless, oh my gosh, something's wrong with this file. Let me take the camera back on. Sorry, guys. What the hell? Let me see if something else will crash my window, my Photoshop, because I need Photoshop to show you guys some of these alien pictures. It opened a different image, so let me take a screenshot of the freaking... when they try to slow you down, I ain't allowing it. It's gonna work. So I take a screenshot of this picture so I can share it to you, paste that in... You're not gonna crash it now. Okay, shit. Now I'll go to Photoshop and show you this is what Gina was talking about. July 18th and 19th through the 19th. So you guys want to come? Your brother Anuhazi is going to be there. So are some of these other beloved starseeds, indigos. Arcturus Ra, we saw him Sedona, so he's going to be in Sedona again. Maybe he lives in Sedona. Mike Barra is from Ancient Aliens. Yesha, she's a cool speaker too. I don't know all her teaching, but she's a good speaker. Oh my gosh, I don't really see. The other one's going to be. Let me see if this is going to crash my freaking computer too. It crashed my computer. I got these from my friend's website, so there's something wrong with his media. Because both of the media I saved from that website. Okay, guys, you should be able to see me, right? Okay. I can't use those pictures on that, which is very unusual, very weird. Something about the data of the files from that person's site. Adobe doesn't like it. So, but anyways, thank you, Gina. And she's talking about that convention. You guys want to see your brother Andrew as he talk in person, plus the rest of the guests, plus be in Sedona? Yes! And then Giannis 1111, and then Gina, you guys want to hang with fam, right? Hang with fam. Even if the event ends at 7, we can still go out for dinner together, hang out with people we know and trust. Anyways. Checking in, Vato Locos. Celine! Woohoo! Star Sister! And Sedona Celebration, yeah! And we also plan, we're gonna do it, whether it's only just a few of us again. A few of us, we're about to talk about it and plan it, and hopefully not less than 10 days, you'll see a link for you guys to check out. We plan on doing our own personal retreat. I mean, it's not one of these big old events. It's just a few of us, less than 20 probably. No, more than likely, less than 20. Maybe less than 10. I don't know. Who cares, right? We'll still have fun. And I still don't know if it's going to be in September. It could be in September. It's just close to my October. More than likely, it'll be in September. Thank you, Celine. Thank you, Star Sister. Much love. All right, so sorry about that, you guys. So, questions. Vid Virals asks, can you tell me about the Arcturians? I was told I am a starseed. Well, Holy One, the Arcturians are one of the guardian groups, positive guardian groups, but it doesn't mean all Arcturians are positive. And there's a lot of distortions out there about what are starseeds. And I made a video last Saturday about starseeds. There's only certain groups of races that are actually starseeds. Arcturians aren't a starseed group for the humans. We're not coming from their DNA. They're not part of our DNA. That's what starseed is. It's DNA. Star DNA. We're not getting DNA from Arcturians or Pleiadians. Well, Pleiadians is unique, but I won't go into it. But I can't tell you a lot about Arcturians. I encourage you to read Voyagers 1 and Voyagers 2. Our moderators have given you free links to Voyagers books. It tells you a lot more, but it's not focused on Arcturians. And really nobody can tell you who you are. Whoever told you you're a starseed, they can't tell you. Only you can tell yourself that. Only you can find that out from your own soul collective group, which is part of your consciousness. It's part of your DNA. It's in your DNA. So you can connect to your higher consciousness and ask your own soul, your own self. Your own self will tell you about your journey. And it's not overnight, you guys. And most people want that or expect that. It's not overnight. This is a journey of change, of transformation. It's a journey of disciplining yourself, changing your diet, changing your conversations, changing your thinking. All of this leads to your answers. And if you really want to know about you being a starseed, put that intention to yourself, to your higher self. Meditate on that. Put that intention there. I want to know my soul to tell me who I am. Talk to your soul like it's a person. You know, it's part of who you are now. It's in your energy. It's in your body. It's in your potential. You just have to bring that out. A psychic is not going to tell you who you are. No one can tell you who you are. And if someone does, like someone told you you're Arcturian, how does that help you if you don't feel it and see it yourself? It doesn't help you. It's just hearsay. This person could be wrong. You want to find out within, and that's how you do it. You go into your own soul, connect to your work on your heart chakra, your throat chakra, and your third eye chakra, and put intention there, and it will tell you, because no one else can tell you. Even though plenty of people will do it, will try to tell you. And another question from Sedona 3688. Christos, when you were in Sedona, did you check out the Devil's Bridge and Kitchen and the Subway K portal? I don't believe we did. I'm not sure. Maybe Giannis or Celine could tell you, because they were the ones organizing which vortices we go check out. But I don't know if we went to the Devil's Bridge, and what kind of name is that, right? But I don't recognize Subway Cave either. But we actually didn't see all the vortices. We want to, though. I think that's what we're going to do on our next trip, is go to some of these places we didn't. Like Celine really wanted to find water, like lake, river, whatever. I'm sure we'll find that as well. Elephant tusks. What are your thoughts on the synthetics trying to take over the grid with their overlay system? Synthetics. Well, is this something you read in the Voyager's books? Because I don't recall that AI data center as being part of the takeover. But obviously AI is part of this agenda, especially with the Anunnaki and the reptilians, by the way. Some of the reptilians have been taken over. They're actually got too interfaced with the AI, and now it's running you, or you can't now you can't live without it, right? This is why they want to put a chip in your head. Neuralink, your brain link, chip, brain chip. There was soft disclosure in the Matrix movies. Back of the head, connect to a network. Whose network? Who's controlling it? What are you vulnerable to when you do that, right? So there's definitely people call it AI, artificial or synthetic. You guys, there's no such thing. There is no fake consciousness or synthetic consciousness or artificial. How could anything in God be artificial or not alive? Everything is alive. Even computer motherboards are alive. Your refrigerator, your microwave is alive. This microphone is alive. Your hair follicles are alive. A rock is alive. There is nothing artificial about Creator. There is nothing that is synthetic. Now, if you want to talk about things like clones are alive. Everything is consciousness from the nano, you would say, particle. Nano, like ultra micro particles. The Guardians call them particae. Everything is particae. The synthetics are made of particae. The AI, the robots, the They're made of particle. Everything is made of particle, man. There is no such thing as synthetics or artificial. But I understand what you're saying. Beings like AI, who don't have bodies, maybe, or just floating in different parts of the planet or space, but they're not. There's plenty of hybrids, so you don't need synthetics taking us over. There's already hybrids taking us over. There's already hybrids in power. There's already hybrid cultures, hybrid nations. That means they're not human nations. They're not human cultures or human people. Doesn't mean they're less. It just means that there's an enemy hiding amongst us, and some of them aren't even aware of it. Just like an indigo has to wake up to itself, one of these hybrid elites have to wake up to themselves. So, from that point of view, you would say there's always some type of artificial intelligence that wants to control our planet, our people, use us as a resources, kind of like devour us as a resource, get everything they can from us, and so they move on to their next victim. So that's not how we're going to end. We're not going to be, that's my opinion. We're not going to be taken over. You want my thoughts, I'm giving you my thoughts. We're not going to be taken over by some synthetics or AIs. We're going to be taken over by extraterrestrials, fallen angels. And maybe some of their tools are AI, but it's not only about AI or synthetics. It's about consciousness and sovereignty and what you do with that. What are you going to do with that? Are you going to allow yourself to get the mark of the beast, the chip on the brain? Are you going to allow that? You make your free will choice to be, there's also things like nanites that can be airborne. Nanites in your phone, nanites anywhere. You can't see them, but you better believe when that comes out, or if it's going to be a huge threat to take over, then there's going to be all kinds of rebels and people coming out with solutions to not have AI become part of their being, part of their body or their consciousness. So there's also tactics and techniques, energy techniques you can do, just like they're using energy techniques. You can use energy techniques, but do not live in fear, holy ones. That's the route to make yourself vulnerable. You don't want to be vulnerable to any of these demonic type of technologies. We want to be God sovereign free. We want to be disciplined in our energies. And I even can say that for myself. Sometimes I'm not disciplined in what I eat or drink or whatever. I need to be more responsible. So do we all. We all have to be disciplined. Straight up. We just have to be our best, highest self. If we're not disciplined and working hard at this, we're not meeting our best and highest self. Amber Anderson, welcome, Holy One. Good to have you back. Good to see you again. Machiwa. Much love and respect, you guys. So, if you didn't know it, Marduk is almost like one of the races that took over Nibiru, became the rulers over the other factions like the Enki and the Enlil, which is done historically in Mesopotamia, because Sumer came first. The Anunnaki, the Enki, the Anu, the Enlil, Ishtar, and a few other of those gods. So those are all the beings that started. There was religions. You got these extraterrestrials. Now they have a history with us, even though if the Sumerians didn't know it, they have millions of years of history with us. The humans have been wiped out a few times. So, of course, not all the humans are going to remember the ancient cultures of ancient Egypt or Atlantis or before Sumer. So, they're going to take advantage of that ignorance. These fallen beings are going to come to our planet. You know, they're described in the cuneiform clay tablets as coming from the sky. They're called sky gods. They're described as coming down to earth. They're described as being physical. They're not spirits, demons in the astral or wherever. They're literally, the Anunnaki are literally physical beings coming from higher dimensions. I told you earlier, the second universe, which is dimensions 4, 5, and 6. We're in dimension 3. These are bullies. The Anunnaki are 4th and 5th and dimensional beings coming through stargates and portals to our world, to our planet, and influencing us historically. They started in Atlantis. This is way before Sumer existed, you guys. You're never going to get the full story on the Anunnaki. You're not so smart as you think if you're just following Zechariah Sitchin. Zechariah Sitchin is an Illuminati narrative. I'll say that again. Zechariah Sitchin's books, information about Enki brother, Enlil brother, Marduk brother, about them creating hybrids. Okay, his body of knowledge is BS. Some of his Assyrian, Sumerian translations were frankly straight up wrong, inaccurate, not fully accurate. There is many different people and websites and YouTube channels that debunk Zechariah Sitchin. If your whole Anunnaki truth is based on this Enki Enlil Marduk story, you have no idea. Tonight's video is called Enki, Enlil, and Marduk, Anunnaki. These are 3 different species, races, each one of them coming from Nibiru, but Marduk comes from also some of them come from other planets as well, like even inner Earth. Because some people think everything above the astral is good. Everything in inner Earth is good. It's not true, you guys. Everything between dimension 1 and dimension 11 has distortion, has angelic influence, fallen angelic influence, fallen angelic warfare, has conflict. There is distortion in all those dimensions. So some of these beings are dark avatars, 10th, 11th dimensional dark avatars. So these beings are definitely not in your interest. The annu-elohim created, just so you guys know, let me show you the time matrix to help you visualize some of this. Because in the time matrix, which is coming from the information from the Emerald Order Freedom Teachings, time matrix. Okay, so I'll open this diagram. Hopefully it comes open. Yeah, it didn't close. This is our reality that we exist in. At the beginning of the show, I talked about the 5 different levels of matter density. From carbon matter, where we still experience aging, sickness, mortality, death. This is the universe that we are in. In the 3rd dimension, out of all these dimensions, right? Out of 15 dimensions, well, the dark avatars are around here. The annu-elohim and the Jehovian Yahweh group are from here. And where are humans? Humans are way down here in the third dimension. So you see the context? You see where I put Enki, Enlil, and Marduk? It's in the second universe. Okay? And so these are bullies, man. They're coming from higher dimension. And actually, the original humans are not from the third dimension. They're also in the fifth dimension. These are the original humans. The angelic humans. The ones who are giants compared to us. They're super psychic, they're immortal, and they're breatharians. They don't eat anything except air. So that's where these beings are bullies. These ones are coming from the future or higher levels of creation, like the fifth dimension, and coming down to the third dimension and giving us, problems. They're intruders, man. That's what the Guardians call them, intruders. They don't have our permission. And so, within the context of the 15-dimensional time matrix, it's 950 billion years old. And so all of these beings, once upon a time, all life in the time matrix, all beings in the 15-dimensional time matrix got along for 700 billion years. It was 250 billion years ago where there started to have distortion. And it happened in the 11th dimension. That's why everything from dimension 1 to dimension 11 is distorted, because the original fall happened in the 11th dimension. It was a warring between two factions of guardians who fell and became fallen angel groups. And that was the Annu, what all of the New Agers call Annu, A-N-U. This is the original name, was Annu. They renamed themselves to the annu-elohim. Okay? And so this group are feline aquatic apes. That's what their species is. That means they're part cat, feline, part aquatic ape, like an ape that can swim in the water. That's the hybrid. That's what the annu-elohim is. It's a feline aquatic ape. And so this is what the race that the Sumerians call Anu. But it's not a person, just like Enki's not a person. Just like Enlil's not a person, Marduk's not a person. These are, and I already went through the whole spiel about how there's no such things as plural gods. It is demonic, fallen angelic lies that there's many gods. It is a lie. It's a hoax. There isn't Greek gods, Roman gods. It's pantheons, councils of ETs. It's the same thing with Anu. It's not a god. It's not Father God. It doesn't have a penis. It's so stupid, man. It's so ridiculous. People thinking these beings are dudes of father gods, and there's no female. It's pretty ignorant. Okay, so these are the beings who created the Jehovians, Anunnaki. This is the original bloodline of Anunnaki. It's the only original. All the other, there's a bunch of reptilian races that mix their DNA with the Anunnaki race. The Omicron mixed their DNA with the Anunnaki race. And that's where you get, wait. I guess I didn't put it on this side. I put it on this side. So this is where the hybrids are. The Anunnaki reptilian hybrids. Anunnaki plus Draconian. That's the reptilians. You take an Anunnaki and add one of these Draconian reptilian races, you get hybrids. Like the Enki is, it tells you right here, it's between Anunnaki and the Zeta Gray aliens. Thoth. is one of these. It's an Enki Anunnaki. Enlil is a mixture between Odedicron and Anunnaki, which is a winged reptile avian, gargoyle type of being. And I showed you my artwork of these guys. So that's all what do we say? Enlil, right? It's a gargoyle type of creature mixed with Anunnaki DNA. Sorry, I lost my place there. There it is. And they're described as scaled reptile hominids. Look again. They're part of the Odedicron winged reptilian avians mixed with the Anunnaki. That's what an Enlil is. It has nothing to do with being a brother. That is a bunch of Zachariah Ascension BS. It is the, remember, who ruled Mesopotamia? It is the priests who created the religions. It is the Illuminati factions of the Enlil, the Illuminati Marduk, the Omicron Anunnaki. There's all kinds of Anunnaki races, man. Not just one. And they're the ones who create the religions. They're the ones who create the doctrines, the dogmas. That is the opposite of the law of one. These teachings, the universal teaching, the universe is based on law of one. The universe. But of course you're going to have fallen angels create religions. Religion is not a good thing. You don't need anything between you and God, but here comes religion, something between you and God. Now you got popes and priests between you and God. Now you got saints and archangels and councils between you and God. Transmute. There's nothing between you and God. So your precious Enki is not a dude, not a brother. It's a race of beings mixed between reptilian and sectoid Zeta. What do you think a Zeta Gray Alien is? What is Zeta Gray Alien? Insectoid. That means, like a praying mantis, anything with the gray alien eyes. Those are insect eyes. All kinds of insectoid beings. Ant beings, praying mantis beings, beetle beings, like the with the necromatons are beetles. Oh, that's the hybrid necromaton. Where's the actual necromaton? It's a beetle, reptilian, insectoid. Do you see the hybrid connections? They're part beetle, insectoid, part reptilian. Okay, that's what all these, they're all hybridizing. But you see that we got, Enki is not some dude, it's a race. It's a humanoid, insectoid, reptilian serpent race. This is one of the main portrayals I put in my Anunnaki videos, because these beings went to Sumer, they went to Babylon, they went to all these different ages throughout history, and they created hybrids. I made these videos about them creating hybrids. They do it through rape, or they do it through just medical, genetics, genetic hybridization, or sexual hybridization, whatever they can do. Some of these beings are not compatible with humans, so they're going to have to do it in a laboratory. Like the reptilians, the Anunnaki are closer to our lineage, so they're more compatible sexually. But the Marduk is combined with Omicron dragons with Anunnaki. So the dragons, you're going to see a dragon iconography in those ancient days. Anything to do with snakes and dragons has to do with these fallen angels. And then you're going to get, like, what was this Enki one that had to do with the serpent, snake. You're going to see all kind of iconography. I'm talking about heraldry, like what goes on people's shields, what's on their coat of arms. What is their alignment? They're aligned with serpents, or they're aligned with dragons. Dragons, or they're aligned with the Enki or gargoyles, winged reptilian type of beings. These are not people, man. Am I getting this through to some of you? These are not individuals. These are species. And they're call signs. This is where I'm going to get into the back of the Voyagers books and show you all the influences they have done for thousands of years. In Human Seeding 3, we're not even talking about Human Seeding 1, which was 25 million years ago. Human Seeding 2 was 3 million, 2 million plus years ago. And then Human Seeding 3. Okay, so I'm just going to be, in the back of the book, they're just going to be talking about what was in Human Seeding 3, the influences they did, and still doing to this day. Influence. The Anunnaki did not go, you guys. They're still here in people as hybrids, or they're still here secretly in underground bases, undersea bases, motherships. Their planet is not far away. They're a portal or Stargate jump away. Okay? They have wormholes open from the Phantom Matrix, man. What was the Montauk Project, the Philadelphia Experiment, the CERN, the HARP? It's about opening doorways for these fallen angelic demonic beings to come and influence our angelic human race, our planet, to weaponize our Templar, to weaponize the Earth's Templar. And by the way, that is one of the things that Thoth did. He stole the Guardian teachings, which was Templar mechanics, okay, and weaponized it. Weaponized Merkaba, weaponized the planets, stargates, weaponized, and give this to the Paracletes, the Anunnaki, one of the Illuminati factions in Atlantis. And so this is what Thoth has done. Okay? And then you got people, bless, if you want to say bless Billy Carson, but he brings out some truth. But he's also praising Thoth. There's other people, Elena Danon, praising the Anunnaki. Anybody into, a lot of people in UFOlogy, a lot of people in Ancient Aliens think the Anunnaki are good guys. Man, the word Lucifer comes from the Anunnaki. These are anti-Christic beings. And you guys can say whatever you want, but according to the Guardian teachings, the Anunnaki, notice it has the word Anu, and I just got through telling you it is the Anu who created the Anunnaki. Their name means Avengers of Anu. Anunnaki. So Naki must mean Avengers of, and Anu. Avengers of Anu. Anunnaki. It's in Voyagers, man. Let me show you. Because you're going to have all kinds of fringe ideas of what Anunnaki literally means. It's not English. It's not Latin. It's not a human language. Lucifer is not a human language. Anunnaki is not a human language word. It doesn't come from Earth, homies. Let me show you from the Guardian PDF. Oh, let me open PDF first and show you this. Where it says Avengers of Anu. And remember, we don't say A-N-U. We spell it A-N-Y-U because that's the original race. But isn't it interesting that it's very close to what a lot of people in the cult and New Age are saying Anu instead of Anu. So let me switch over so you guys... Avengers. Let me just put the word Avenger. So it's not in Voyagers 2. Let me open Voyagers 1. It's in Voyagers 1. Avengers of Anu. Your brother Anunnaki is not making anything up. And this is why they created them. This is why. When the Orophim race, which is a guardian race, when the Orophim race was created by the Guardians about 568 million years ago, pay attention to this date. When they created the Orophim 560 million years ago, and I just got through explaining this race, the annu-elohim, fallen angelic legion, also created a new fallen angelic race. Notice they're calling it a fallen angelic race straight up. Well, gee, let me close the camera for a second. If a fallen angel race creates a race, it's also fallen angelic. The annu-elohim, you just saw it there in the Emerald Covenant teaching. The guardian, the annu-elohim fallen angel race create a fallen angel race called the Avengers of Anu. All right? Are we getting that? So, this is where a lot of people have an issue, or don't believe me or something. Dragons are good. You guys, it's the same thing. It is the Omicron fallen angelic race who created the dragons. Straight up! Sorry for raising my voice, but it is just a freaking ongoing distortion in people. The Anunnaki were created by the annu-elohim, a fallen angelic race. The dragons, called Dracon. This is where you get the word draconian. Draconian is the Dracon, the dragon. It is the Omicron reptilian dragomoths, a fallen angelic race who create the dragons, who are a fallen angelic race, but you can think and believe whatever you want. I'm just telling you straight up who the dragons are and who the Anunnaki are. They're children of fallen angelic legions. You just read it in the Guardian teaching, which I'll put back online. Put back on the screen. Could there have been some positive Anunnaki and some positive dragons that got healed because they did not start off as guardians, but certainly some individuals, maybe some groups or families could have been healed. But don't start sending out a bunch of false BS teaching that dragons are good because they're a fallen angelic race. Some individuals could have become healed. It's the same with the Anunnaki. They were created as avengers, dude. Let's read what they were designed to do. Created a new fallen angelic race. Notice they're called a fallen angelic race with 11-strand potential. The most genetically advanced biological form that D11 fallen annu-elohim are capable of seeding, because they're only D11, so they can't create anything higher than D11. The new race created by the fallen annu-elohim is called the Anunnaki. Tonight's topic, meaning, not an English meaning, not a Spanish or Russian meaning, not a Judaism meaning. You guys, are you getting that clue? Because people will argue and argue, that's not what the Anunnaki means. According to the Emerald Order teachings, it means Avengers of Anu. And if you think about it, this race got pissed off, right? Because the Guardians created the Orifim race. So this pissed off annu-elohim said, okay, you want to create a Guardian race to help you? We're going to create a freaking Avenger race who are going to avenge us. It's a fallen Lyran hybrid founders race, D11 from D11 Avion, Dimension 11. The Anunnaki, which are Jehovah's Anunnaki lineage, was created specifically as a vehicle. This happens in a lot of ways, you guys, not just this example. As a vehicle through which the D11 annu-elohim could incarnate directly into densities 1, 2, and 3. Are you getting that? Let me show you on my diagram. They created the Jehovah's Anunnaki, which are in different dimensions, right? And so they could be closer to the earth. So these dark avatars can incarnate into the earth drama. It just said that. Dimensions 1, 2, and 3. Even though they're a dimension 10 being, they created a race, a lower race, that they can incarnate into. Of course, they have to wake up like we have to wake up, but still, this is why they create races. This is why they create hybrids. Okay, so PDF. In order to destroy the Anunnaki, Vato Locos, all of you Anunnaki lovers, look, they were created to destroy the guardian angelic Orifim and Azurite Ayayani, that's the Indigo Children genetic lines, to further their continuing agenda of exploitation and dominion of our time matrix. And I don't think you can find Avengers anywhere else. It's only in that one little snippet. But notice they even capitalize it. It's capitalized and in quotes. They're telling you straight up what the Anunnaki meaning is. And you guys, you're still going to have people writing comments. You read the comments tomorrow after the replay. That's not what Anunnaki means. Shit. So, let's go to the PDF, but I got to check donations. There's no new donations, you guys. You guys, please support your brother Anuhazi. Please leave a donation, you guys. $5, $10, $50, whatever you feel called to. Support this work, because my information is too controversial to be on YouTube's paid program. So the only way to support my work and to help me keep doing this full time, I do this 7 days a week, you guys. Ask my girlfriend. When she came, I was still working. Not as much, of course. But yeah, I work for you. This is a, content creator is a specialized business. I work for you. This is my full-time job, you guys. So please, this is how I get paid, is through an exchange of energy. Thank you so much. So let me check for questions too. Machiwa. Thank you, Giannis. My girlfriend, my fiance. Vivid Virals asked Christos Avatar, why did God split itself into all these beings to learn from itself? Well, that's part of God's creation, you would say. God originally broke itself down into different identities of itself, or levels of itself, levels of frequency of itself, so it could experience itself, so it can create, so it can grow, so it can expand. Creator creates. This is why Creator is creating, like you asked, different beings of itself. These are itself. Those beings simply have less consciousness than the original. So Source God has all consciousness, all life within itself, within the unified field. Because God does not have a penis, is not a human-looking dude. Okay? God doesn't have a body. God doesn't have gender. God is pure consciousness. Okay? So it's not an ET. God is not a human. God, human looking. God is not an extraterrestrial. God is not a metaterrestrial. God is not an ultra-terrestrial. God is everything. Not limited to a piece, a fragment of oneself, but includes all of itself. So to answer your question, this is how God creates. God created all the Kundalini, the Euchatic, the Ekar, the Polaran, the what's the freaking name for the Ascended Master level 3? The triadic phase, the geomantic entity. So this is part of God's creation, is expression of itself. God is expressing itself in thought form, which becomes manifest form. Thought becomes manifest. Spirit becomes physical. This is part of God's creation. So that's the easiest way to explain it. It's not as if God is lonely. Why would God be lonely when God is everything that it creates? Everything you think is you. Everything God creates is it. God creates. So God really didn't split itself, but for some reason or another, it wanted a dimensionalized level of itself to it, which is an extension of oneself, while those thoughts are creating things. And those things create thoughts, which create things. And those things create more things. It's all stemming from Source. It's all God. It's all levels of God. It's all faces and expressions of the one. There's only one. So in this huge creation, some of itself, God's self, can forget itself in the hologram levels of creation. In the dimensionalized levels, God can, it's just you can say it's just excuse me, rub my eye. It's just some extension in the hologram field, which is the possibility it can become distorted. Outside of the hologram, God can't be distorted. So there is no mean ass Anunnaki or reptilian that's going to affect Source God in those higher God worlds. That, remember, they're capped at the 11th dimension. They can't go higher than the 11th dimension. So they're limited. They're literally limited themselves. So, Machiwa. We are creations of Creator. This is how God creates. God, when you say God knows everything, yes, but also God is always creating, always expanding, becoming more and more unlimited, unlimitless. So God, there is no end, there is no beginning to God. So, deep question, good question. It's already getting close to 8:30, you guys, and I'm very hungry tonight. Thank you, Sir Madison, brother. Good to see you, man. Indigo Gal, yes, sister. This is why I created this community. We needed like-minded space, and I found out that I needed moderators like you, because in the beginning there was people attacking our chat, like it was super obvious they were attacking us. They would send 10 messages in 1 second. I didn't even know that was possible. Obviously, they're using tools to do that. But there's a simple way to bypass that whenever someone does that. But anyways, I have moderators who are helping out with that so we can have a safe space. Thank you, Indigo Gal. Vivid virals. So we chose to come to Earth. Yeah, this is actually explained in Voyagers 1 and 2. Excuse me, my eyes rubbing, irritating or rubbing. There's a whole big story behind it. We had cataclysm in our original home world, which is in the 5th dimension on a planet called Tara. So Tara had cataclysm, and it was a freaking super powerful weapon. So when something is destroyed at that level, it energetically reverses. It goes into a spiral. It spirals in frequency, oscillation, vibration into a lower density. It literally goes through a black hole down into a lower level of creation, and those beings became what's it called? Disembodied. They became disembodied because of and this happens. This can happen on Earth, where there's you are suddenly killed, for example, or you get suddenly displaced out of your body. You're disembodied. You're stuck in the hollow fields. Well, there was millions, I don't know, maybe billions of beings that became disembodied in the 3rd dimension. It was also the second, the 3rd, and the 4th dimension. So some of that was astral. But there was all these disembodied beings. The Guardians aren't going to just let that sit. So yes, to answer your question, I want to make sure. We chose to come here to rescue. It's a rescue mission to save some of the beings who are victim of the cataclysm. We're creating these bodies for them to incarnate into. Literally. We chose to come here. Machiwa. Yeah. So before I end the live, I told you I was going to go to the back of the book, so let me go through that. We will finish the live in about 10 to 15 minutes, you guys, okay? Because I'm already when my fiance was here, we were eating more often, so I'm used to eating at a certain time now. So, but let me go to this book real quick, to the back, and show you the influence of the Anunnaki that they have done to our religions. They've done it to the Aztecs, to the Mayans, to the Incan, to the Jewish people, to the Celtic people, to the Druid people. They have done it to all our cultures, all our beliefs, man. Religions are not natural. It's a fallen angelic organization. And you will see their influence. So let me switch to the PDF. Yeah. Voyagers 2. I guess I'll start at the top. Like, this isn't one of the Enki Enlil Marduk, right? But it tells you the names of their Illuminati lines. They tell you which countries or people and cultures they influenced. It doesn't mean they're the only ones that influence these people. So let's go to Enki Enlil or Marduk. So here's Marduk. And there's two different Marduk groups. Marduk Luciferian Anunnaki and Marduk Draman Satan Anunnaki. So let's look at their Illuminati lines. Remember, I've been showing you guys how they make these. They have sex or they do it in a laboratory, genetic hybridization. They came, this is called Atalan King, which is an Atlantean Illuminati line. It's called Alukum King, Beli Kadman, and hybrid. So these two hybrids create something, Illuminati / called the Atalan King, Atlantean Leviathan Illuminati lines. So I guess both of these, that's what this little dashes mean, / Alukum King Illuminati line and the Beli Kadman Atalan King Illuminati line. Just think of King as Illuminati or Pharaoh or whatever. It's a bloodline. These are bloodlines. This is the bloodline. This is a bloodline. And then there's a Babylonian bloodline. So they made hybrids. The Marduk Luciferians made these hybrids a long time ago. These are not people, man. This is not, when it says king, it's not a person. This is a bloodline. This is a bloodline coming from some hybrid elite, but it doesn't matter. They created this bloodline, this Illuminati, part human, part Anunnaki bloodline. In Atlantis, they created two of them. And we're just talking about the Marduk Luciferians. And in Babylon, they created the Vicarous Illuminati bloodline, which is a Alukum King mixed with Druidic Magi hybrid. Scandinavian Vikings, king lines, but from Scandinavia. You know all the sick and twisted things that the Vikings are known for. Hyksos Knights Templar, Freemason Master Race, one of the other. See, those are all the freaking Illuminatis just from the Marduk Luciferians. Okay? And human infiltration tribes. Who did they mess with? They messed with Druids, Magi lines. That means, Magi Selene. That means indigo line, bloodline, Druidic indigo line. The Magi line of the Druids. So they infiltrated them. They had sex with them, raped them, hybridized with them, raided them, okay? This is... they're mentioning Atlantis, a city called Nohasa, Atlantis, Scandinavia, England, Ireland, Scotland. That's where Nohasa is focused on, by the way. Nohasa, Noah, Noah's flood. Also something called Scots, MacGregor Raiders, Knights Templar Freemasons. So they infiltrated all the you know, this is just the Marduk Anunnaki, man. They're associated with the Luciferian Covenant. They work with the Semyasi Pleiadians, and the Centaurs, who are diabolical, Andromedes. No, they're from Omicron, Alpha, Omega Centauri. Druid distortions, Celtic distortions, pagan and Protestant Christian text distortions. This is what this beings has done, and we just covered one faction, okay? Now the Marduk, Draymond, Satane faction, they created these, well, this says Atlantis, Illuminati line. They created the Sathian elite bloodline, Illuminatis. There's a Sathian Atlantis Illuminati group from the Marduk, Draymond, Satane. And also, they made one in Babylon, Chaldean, Akkadian bloodlines. That is a mixture, dude. Babylon mixture, Chaldean, Akkadian mixture. It tells you exactly more details like Jehovah Anunnaki, Nohasim, Hasa, Illuminati, and Sathian Illuminati. So this is telling you what they mixed to create it, to create this Illuminati line. Okay, and then they created Set King, you know, the Egyptian Set King. They created a hybrid line, elitist Illuminati hybrid line. And they tell you exactly what they mixed to create it. And this is who they effed with. They effed with the Middle Eastern, Hebrew, Sumeria. Again, this is all Mesopotamian groups, man. Babylon, remember what I told you at the beginning of this live. This is all way before the Christian and Jewish teachings and Father God Yahweh. This is before Islam, before Yahweh, man. There's history and gods that came before your gods. Just saying. Okay, so they infiltrated Middle East, Sumer, Akkad, Babylon, Egypt, Native Americans, Portuguese, West Africans, they're Russians, why not? Okay, so they are known for Draymond Dragon Queen, Egyptian Set schools, biblical Seth lineages, the necromancy, satanic Bibles, Satanism. Oh, these are a great group of beings, huh? They mess with Islamic and Hebrew texts. They are responsible for the KKK, for the Russian psychic called Rasputin. They're related channels and related channels, channeling. Sorry about the noises, you guys. It's a lot of wind outside, so it's probably picking up on my microphone. Yeah, that vibration. That's my door vibrating from the window, or from the door frame. Anyways, here's your precious Enlil. You see how much freaking history is behind these beings, and you want to say Zachariah Ascension BS, that it's a brother? Get with the program or stay lost, homies. These guys created the also Atlantean, Sumerian, African Illuminati lines called the Iduruan. And then the Beli Codman, Atalan, Arcadia Greek king bloodline. OMG, I'm actually physically tired of this, man. They're associated with primates, Neanderthals, slave race for African. You see the BS that Zechariah Ascension says, oh, they made humans for slave race. No, homies. They took some distorted humans. They made some distorted creature called Neanderthal out of the humans so they could... You see how the Zechariah teaching is so effed up? And for Middle East labor, gold mines and Middle East labor, they're associated with Luciferian rebellion, Luciferian conquest. Oh, nice people. Luciferian covenant, invasions, the Phoenix and the Falcon mystical schools, the Falcon. Oh my gosh, dude, I'm just getting sick of this. Chikas Masul. I think it's probably this frequency, this energy of this wind. This wind has been for the past 2 days. So, anyways, you guys, I'm not trying to convince you of anything. You can believe in Zechariah Ascension, UFOology narrative about the Anunnaki. You can believe in Elena Danon's huge, she's got a huge book, man. You can believe in what she says about the Anunnaki. You can believe in whatever the Kabbalah says about the Anunnaki, whatever the Talmud says, or whatever you like, man. I'm just telling you what the Guardians say. Right here, and many other workshops, there is a ton of information about the Anunnaki. I've just touched a small part of it. You know, my lifelong work, a big part of it is going to be about exposing the Anunnaki. Because it's going to take a long, long time to expose. You saw all the things they're involved with? I have to get all that into videos and for you guys. This is what we wake up to in our, this is the reality that we deal with. As angelic humans, as star seeds, as indigo children. This is not easy. It is the Krystic Emerald Order Guardians who are bringing this information to you, this forbidden history since human seeding 3, you guys. The Anunnaki single-handedly murdered us in human seeding 1. They helped the reptilians to murder us in human seeding 2. They're trying to do it again. They successfully did it in parallel Earth. Okay? Now they're working on us. And according to the information, they used HARP in parallel Earth. They used a false returning of Jesus Christ in parallel Earth. They're trying to do it here. You see it? You see the same stuff being done here. It's scary, man. And all of you who are saying that these Anunnaki are good guys, you're making them stronger. You're making these fallen angels, Luciferians, Satanists, reptilians, Satan, but the reptilians are combining them DNAs to make the Enki humanoid, insectoid, reptilian serpents, the Enlil, the Marduks, the Semyasi group. Man, this is no joke, you guys. It's the same races being mentioned in the secret space program. You know the moon is fake, right? And that the reptilians, Anunnaki, are controlling it. It is the Anunnaki, Jehovians, Enlil, Marduks, Enlil, Enki. They're the ones running the New Age channeling movement. They're the ones connecting you through channeling. They created technologies to channel to you. A lot of you channeling angels are channeling fallen angelic Anunnaki. Those of you who are channeling Andromeda are channeling Anunnaki hybrids. You're not channeling Archangel Michael. You're not channeling someone named Metatron. You're not channeling. What you're channeling is what they set up, what they created, what they fabricated. You are working for them. You are following their Abrahamic Anunnaki bloodlines, Sumerian bloodlines. You saw all the bloodlines they have created. These are your rulers. These are your Rockefellers, your Rothschilds. These are your Atlantean, Egyptian Illuminati, your South American Illuminati, your Chinese Illuminati. They're freaking historically effing with us, disempowering us, hating on us, manipulating us. I don't need to convince you. Just like the Guardians aren't going to evangelize and come knocking to your door and telling you to believe. This is your free will. And it's not about belief. It's about seeing what's going on in these beliefs. I told you guys to see what they're teaching. What is Yahweh Father God teaching? You see what the freaking teaching is coming out of that group. What is coming out of Allah? What is coming out of the Hindu gods? You see their nature exposes themselves. You can find some truth. There's a little bit of sprinkled truth in these groups on purpose. That is how they trick the human heart and the human mind, by sprinkling some truth that you can feel. The rest of it is BS, phantom, intentional scam, intentional lie. Now, man, do you understand what they're doing? They're pulling you into phantom. You're following phantom. You're speaking phantom. You're working for phantom. You're falling into phantom earth, into the phantom agendas. That's your free will. You aligned with your free will. You are praying to these gods, these archangels. You are praising these galactic councils. You are praising these ET gods. I got people arguing recently. Oh, you haven't studied the Quran. Everything is because of Allah. Machiwa. If that's your truth, Holy One. We are Christos Avatar and those following these Emerald Order teachings. We are God sovereign free. We do not allow these distortions in our journey, in our thinking, in our conversations, in our relationships. We do not allow. Let me check one last time, you guys. Thank you for hanging out with us. Much respect, much love to all of you. No more last minute donations. Celine was the last one. Thank you again, Celine. Sedona. What's up, Sedona? Much love, much respect to all of you. Thank you for being here tonight. It looks like just Indigo Gal. Hang on. Magi Celine probably too. Stardust Goddess was here earlier. So I don't know what happened to my fiance, but she's got busy life. So thank you guys so much for being here. I have to end sometime, and just so you know, I have a ton of Anunnaki videos. I have a whole series of Anunnaki videos. Binge watch them. There's 90 people of you here right now. Some of you are interested in this information. We encourage you. We give you this is for free. If you buy this on Amazon, this is a $300, $400. I've seen it up to $500 because it's out of print. But do you know that this has been put on Adobe PDF? We give you the download for free. It's online. It's in the archive.org. It's for free. You can get it. You don't have to pay hundreds of dollars. This is mostly about what the Anunnaki have done and what we got to do to get off of their false religions and beliefs and creeds and the New Age and all the different ways that they have changed and affected us. I showed you how they've historically, from Atlantis, man, to Sumer, Akkad, Babylon, to Israel, to freaking Greece, Rome, all these places, man. I encourage you guys to study these teachings. There's a huge body of teachings. It's not just these books. There's hours and hours and hours of video workshops on the internet. You can find them on, there's some on my members area. I encourage you guys to join my Patreon. But you can find them on Google, on YouTube, do searches on Telegram, do searches on, like one of the ones I recommend is called BitChute, BitChute, and look for these teachings, Emerald Order teachings. Thank you guys for being with me tonight. Much love and respect to your Krystic journey. You guys can reach me, direct message me on Facebook or Instagram. You can leave me, my email is below, my Gmail email. And also please meet us in Sedona in July or September. We'll also be speaking in October in Las Vegas. I gave you guys, well, I couldn't show you those pictures, right? But I will be posting them on my platform, so. Shaddai Ude Akumtan. Shaddai Ude Akumtan. Shaddai Ude Akumtan. Omni-Christos love. Much respect to your spiritual journey. Machiwa! We got 877 views. When the live is over, you'll see that go way down. I don't know why they steal hundreds of views from that. Good night, you guys. I'll see you guys on Saturday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.